And we continue to follow now Hurricane Ian slamming into southwest Florida.
Let's send it back over to Betsy with the latest. Hey, Betsy.
Yeah, we have been keeping a very close eye, obviously, on social media, but also news feeds that we have coming into our newsroom. This is the Naples Fire Department, and the bay there in the fire department is completely flooded. They did not get all the fire trucks nor ambulances out in time, so these are now unusable, which obviously puts a huge strain on fire and emergency services in the Naples area until this gets cleaned out. Now they're going to have to replace that equipment possibly. So just another little factoid of all of the devastation that is going on now in western portions of Florida. Naples hard hit with storm surge, other areas hard hit with wind and rain. So NBC's Chris Pallone is in Tampa, Florida, and joins us now with more on what's been happening on the north side of the storm in Tampa. Chris?
Betsy, the conditions here in Tampa have started to deteriorate a lot worse than they were earlier today. When we were in the earlier bands, the feeder bands, if you will, we were getting long periods where there was no rain and really no wind. But now the rain has become consistent and persistent over the past hour or so. And we're getting some significant gusts as well as this storm moves to the north and east and has finally made landfall. That's not to say that it's anything like what's going on a couple of hours south of here. You just showed some of the video, places like Naples, Sanibel Island, also Fort Myers, that are just really getting pounded by 150-mile-an-hour winds and constant driving rain and storm surge that seems to be coming up from nowhere. The last forecast before the storm hit was up to 18 feet of storm surge. That's enough to top, for the most part, a two-story home. And so we know that this disaster is continuing to unfold in that area as the area keeps getting pounded by this storm surge, rain, and wind. First responders are pre-positioned throughout the state to go in to help out once the storm is over, but there's no indication that it's going to be over anytime soon. This storm will soon affect places like Orlando and Jacksonville as it moves to the north. Betsy?
Yeah, Chris, certainly this is an unfolding situation, far from over. All night the rain will continue and the wind too. You stay safe with your crew there in Tampa. Thanks for keeping everybody up to date with what's been going on. I can't stress enough to everybody here back in Cleveland that, Tampa really ended up not having the brunt of this storm. They were on the north side of the storm. They had a northeast wind throughout, which meant the water was being pushed out of Tampa Bay. So definitely lucky stuff for them. However, farther south, they had that onshore flow. That's where the storm surge was, Naples, Fort Myers area too. We have a north wind, so we do have our own little onshore flow happening here, but that onshore flow is also bringing us some lake effect. Temperatures are going to stay steady in the low 50s. It is damp and cool outside. A cold front off to our east is driving south. High pressure is building in, and it's this high pressure that is not only providing us with the north wind, which is connecting up with Lake Huron and bringing us a little Lake Huron connection to our lake effect rain, but that will also put the brakes on the northward movement of Ian later on in the week and as we get into the weekend. Closer view now for you of the radar with our scattered rain showers coming ashore. We will continue to have these rain showers tonight. And I hate to tell you, but I think we're still going to have some of these to deal with in the morning. But more likely than not, by afternoon, we'll finally see that high coming in and taking over and shutting off the lake effect. Temperatures are chilly. We're in the 50s. We're probably not going to be doing any much better than that tomorrow. We'll be up around 60. Our clouds clearing later in the day. So the early clouds clearing out. You can see kind of that trend there as our north wind becomes more northeasterly in your National Designer hour-by-hour forecast. So things start to break up just a little bit. Now, I mentioned that high and that north wind. You can see here the direction the clouds are going. That's an indication that the overall atmospheric pattern is going to start to push back on Ian as this storm is expected to come farther north. Watch how this is expected to unfold here in another hour-by-hour view. I'll put the storm track on, and this storm is going to try and move its way north. Just about the time it gets offshore of northeast Florida, it begins to take a left-hand turn and head right up toward Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. Notice the rain shield moving north toward the Ohio Valley. This is when that high starts to press back against it. We will have some rain that gets into the Ohio Valley. How far north that rain comes is still to be determined, but the remnants of Ian are likely to get locked up in the Appalachian Mountains, so we'll have to wait and see how much oomph it has to make it over the mountains and get into the state of Ohio. But for right now, we still have rain chances in the forecast. And as far as how much rain, it all depends on which model you believe. I pulled up the GFS model, the American model, and you can see it really pelts the mountains with a lot of rain. That's to be expected, tropical moisture being wrung out by the mountains. But farther north, not so much. So we'll have to watch that one. Here's your Union Home Mortgage forecast. Putting it all on the table for you. Temperatures up around 60 tomorrow. Our morning clouds clearing, so that lake effect starting to shut down. That's going to leave us with a mostly sunny Friday. Very pleasant conditions with temperatures in the mid-60s. We'll be hanging out in the mid-60s on Saturday and watching those remnants. Increasing clouds are likely. We will have clouds from Ian. Will we get the rain? I think if we get the rain, it'd be Saturday night into Sunday. As of right now, we'll have to see how that hangs out. And then next week, as that storm system departs, we break out into more typical fall weather with partly cloudy skies and mid to upper 60s.
Friday sounds like a sparkling fall day, certainly.
I think it'll be a nice one. Good break for everybody.
Yeah. All right, Betsy, thanks a lot.